Hi, it's Shelly. Welcome to my channel. What are we doing today? Since we've been sitting home quite a bit lately waiting for the town to settle down from the holiday tourist rush, we decided to grab Victor for a couple of hours and do some local touring around Puerto Morelos. The agenda was to grab a bite to eat, then head over to the botanical gardens, and then to the local brewery, the Pescadores. It turns out the Botanical Gardens is only open Monday to Friday, and this was a Saturday. So we'll have to save that one for another day. We were able to eat some cochinita pibil and tour the Pescadores brewery though. So that's coming up in this video. During our outings on that day, Rick was just not feeling up to par. He woke up on Sunday still feeling a little under the weather. So we decided it was best to err on the side of caution and get checked out for COVID. Stay tuned to the end of the video and we will share our experience with the medical system here in Mexico, as well as the costs involved for visitors, expats, tourists in Puerto Morelos. We hadn't tried cochinita pibil yet, so we decided this is what we would have today. To see how pibil is done, be sure to watch my video on Kush Ish Cool, where this method is demonstrated. Anyone who knows Puerto Morelos knows that the best pibil is Rubens. This food cart is always busy with tourists and locals alike, and he stays at this location each day until he sells out, so be sure to get there early. The add-ons available were chopped red onions and a green salsa. One of the employees warned me that indeed the salsa was muy picante, so I took that advice. Seriously, and just added a little. Ooh, he wasn't kidding, but it was so good. Victor, of course, showed me that a Mexican person has his with an added hot pepper. Wow, I can't imagine. Rubens can be found in front of the Oxxo on Caoba Street in La Colonia, and I've circled the location here on Google Maps. I highly recommend trying Rubens for some melt-in-your-mouth cochinita pibil. Next up, we headed out to the Cerveza Pescadores. We had scheduled a tour the day before, which is what they asked. Pescadores is located just south of Puerto Morelos on the Federal Highway.
Stops pour bitterness in the first step, then the boil is already started. In the middle of the boil, we can add hops.
The brewery wasn't active while we were there, so we were allowed to go into the brewing area to see the setup. Pescadores is a microbrewery which brews cerveza artesanal pescadores. There are several different craft brews made right on site here in Puerto Morelos.
When the process is finished, we down the temperature. Well, for two reasons. We can collect the cheese and make another beer, or we just throw to the what's the name? No, por ejemplo, la coladera.
Or the drains. The drains.
Yeah,
The drains.
drain. Yeah, so you can take the stuff that you already worked with, and lots of do it again. Is that a lighter?
The brewery is a must-see for craft beer lovers. Their beers are natural and do not contain chemicals or preservatives and are made up of 85% pure well water. The owners, Federico, Alberto, and Luciano, wanted to create their own high-quality craft beer in Mexico, and they've certainly achieved that goal. If you visit some of the local restaurants and bars in Puerto Morelos, like Yunco Beach Club, Punta Corcha, La Serena, Las Micheladas, El Parada, El Mercadito, La Choza, Once Muela Once, among others, you'll find Cerveza Pescadores on the menu. You can also purchase it at the Chedraui in Puerto Morelos or online at the Pescadores website. I'll put the link below.
or chiller. Cooler intention.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
name. And the hot liquor comes to that way and go to the host, to the one or well fermented, and the cold liquor goes to this way, and we collect in the hot liquor. Depends the style that we brew, the temperature of the wort. Ale yeast, the temperature around 19 or 22 degrees. For lager, I guess the right temperature is around 10 or 13
Oh,
degrees.
it's much colder.
Yeah, much colder. And it takes more time to
Okay.
make a
Yeah,
lager,
yeah.
beer lager.
Okay.
What you said sounds cool to make beer in the Caribbean, but it takes, the place is a little warm, and it's necessary it's necessary to extract the warmth of the place or to make a good fermentation.
They have a freezer full of kegs and cases ready to go. I understand they have a mobile beer service for parties and events, so if you are hosting something like this, please contact them. If you're a craft brewer, it would probably be quite enlightening for this tour. For those of us not up on the lingo or the process involved, it was still very informative and definitely gives you an appreciation of the process involved. The tasting room is large with long picnic tables. They have a variety of beers on tap with different alcohol percentages and different flavors. There's even a habanero. There's also a lovely outdoor area where you can sit and enjoy your brews as well. The tour includes a sample flight of beer. I had the blonde, the red, the mango blonde, and the habanero. The red was my favorite. Some empanadas were also included, and they were quite good. They also have other food available to order, and I understand there's live entertainment from time to time. You're best to call ahead for information if you're planning on going with the current COVID situation. We enjoyed this little tour and would recommend it. It's a non-touristy local place to check out while you're visiting Puerto Morelos. So right around the corner from us is the Live Medical Center. Penny and I pass it every day while we're on our walks. When Rick woke up not feeling great, I popped into the clinic to see about getting an appointment. The doctor was there and he said he could see him in about 15 minutes. So back we went, and they administered a COVID antigen test. I had one also, just in case. While we waited for the results, the doctor did an examination on Rick. Both of our tests were negative, so that was a relief. The doctor wanted Rick to go for a chest x-ray, just to be on the safe side, because he has some existing lung issues. He also prescribed some drugs to make him feel better, and we were able to fill the prescriptions right next door at the pharmacy. He also did a requisition for the x-ray and told us to go on Tuesday morning for that, and he would see us again on Tuesday afternoon at 5 to to review the results. On Tuesday, we took a cab to Costa Med. They have an outdoor covered waiting area, and they took a photo of his passport and the requisition, and then they were sent to an x-ray area. We were still outside. He was taken in right away, x-ray done, and out in probably less than 15 minutes. They told us to come back after 4 to pick up the disc with the results. I went back at 4, picked up the disc and the printed results. Back to see Dr. De La Vega at Live Clinic. X-ray shows no sign of COVID either, so it was all good. He gave Rick another prescription for a cough medicine, a shot for inflammation, and said if he wasn't feeling any better in a week or so, he should come back. Okay, now about costs. The COVID antigen tests are 500 pesos each, or $5.15 if you pay by credit card. This converted to $66 Canadian for the 2 tests. The consultation was 500 pesos, which works out to $32 Canadian. The pharmacy bill was also 500 pesos, so another $32. So for Costa Med, I paid the 430 pesos by credit card. The attendant came back out a few minutes later and said that she had made a mistake and that the x-ray was actually going to cost 1,750 pesos because we're tourists. Thankfully, Victor had warned us about this and said to make sure we took a copy of our CFE or water bill with us to show we were longer-term visitors. I'd made copies of both bills and had them with me. I gave it to her and she went back inside. She came back with a receipt for me for the 430 pesos and said that was fine. Lesson learned here. If you're a snowbird or long-term tourist, make sure you are aware of this. The second consultation was another 500 pesos and the shot was 75 pesos, so 36.80 Canadian. This prescription was 393 pesos, so $25 Canadian. The total out of pocket for this small medical incident was $220 Canadian. We were seen within 15 minutes on a Sunday, had x-rays and results 2 days later with follow-up doctor's appointment. This price also included 5 prescriptions and an injection, as well as 2 COVID tests. Unbelievable. The healthcare system here seems pretty good. Obviously, as tourists, we have the means to attend a private clinic, and the same level of service might not be available to Mexican nationals who are covered by the state healthcare. I have no knowledge on that at all, so I don't want to make any statements. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video was helpful to you.